A.
You probably have one in your office, or maybe you are the person who loves to play the blame game. Those who never take responsibility for their mistakes and actions, and they're the ones that are quick to point the finger at someone else. It is time to check in with licensed psychotherapist and national board certified counselor over at Fig Garden Counseling, Peter Nazaridian. And Peter, good to see you. Always great having you. It's so good to see you, especially when we're talking about the blame game. What is that exactly?
Well, you kind of crystallize it there for a second. It's not taking responsibility. I want somebody else to be responsible because I don't know how to fix it, I don't want to fix it, I don't know what's going on. But if you take the responsibility, I'm off the hook. So let me blame you.
Yeah, and I feel like for some people, it's just a natural instinct.
Absolutely.
Did you do this? No, well, I did it because of this person, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, we learned it as kids. You know, a kid has this circle of chocolate frosting around their mouth, and mama says, "Did you eat that last piece of cake?" And he says, "No," because we don't want to be responsible. Something bad's going to happen. So we learn at a very early age, don't take responsibility or blame for anything. Sometimes that carries into adulthood.
You talked about it a little bit. Why do we play the game, the blame game? You mentioned it's easier to blame others and take responsibility. But give us some other reasons, and you see them there on your screen, everyone.
Well, why we play the blame game is a couple of reasons. First, it's easier to blame other people than to take responsibility ourselves. I make it your fault, I'm off the hook. I don't have to do much of anything. Number two, it's an effective weapon in our attack arsenal. People fight. Now, we shouldn't do that, but people fight. And you always say relationships, everybody just fights. Well, I don't know that that's true. I don't know that it's necessary, but people seem to. And if I'm going to be in a fight, I better have some weapons. And that's a good attack. Well, you did this. Why didn't you? You should have done something different. I can attack, get you on the defensive, get you back on the heels, and then you're not looking at me. So it's a good one for that one. It displaces our own weakness when we feel like we are incapable of recognizing a situation, changing a situation, having an effective change in a situation. Well, if I can blame you, then you don't look at my weakness, you don't look at my inability. Now we're talking about yours, whatever it is, and good, the blame is shifted. It's a great defense mechanism. If I can't accept responsibility and I can get on, well, my own ego, my own self-esteem doesn't take a hit. As long as you're taking responsibility, as long as you're back on your heels, I don't have to look at my stuff when I'm not incapable. Yeah. So, and then finally, something we talked about the last couple of sessions I was here, people lie. Yeah. People lie, they just do, and so that makes it a little bit difficult. If I can get away with it, here, you do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How can you tell, though, if you're playing the blame game?
That's a good one. I get a list of those things, and maybe we can put those up because I want to do this with our viewers out there. If you can take a look at that. Here's a couple of them. Is it hard to admit that you're wrong? A lot of times people just don't want to take because, again, it's that chocolate around the mouth. You know, not me. Do you focus on the past and not the future? If you tend to do that, you're looking at all the stuff that doesn't work. We should be spending about 10% of our time looking in the past for a reference, and then about 90% looking forward because that's where we're going.
Okay.
So it's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number three, use other people to justify your own situation. Well, you drive fast, I can drive faster. You cut in line, I can cut in line too. These are people that are, pardon me, highly suggestible, and they'll go along with anything. Well, you do it, therefore I'll do it too. I don't have much of a core I trigger off you. Another one is, do you find it difficult to apologize to other people? It's not just saying I was wrong, it's saying, you know, I'm really sorry, I messed up and I shouldn't have done that, I really apologize. Taking that step is tough for others. Do you think life is unfair and you tend to feel bad for yourself? I can never do anything right, you always blame me, I'm the one that's always, you know, how come you get in that, you know.
Woe is me.
Yeah, if I just take all the responsibility, maybe it won't hurt me as bad. Maybe if I just suck it up, you won't hit me as hard. Do you see negative events in life as being out of your control? Well, I can't do anything. That's just how we are. That's just, you know, what am I supposed to do? Just slough it off on the universe. And finally, do you feel powerless to change things in a positive way? Well, I'm just one guy. What can I possibly do? I can't, you know, what do you want from me? Yeah. It's just all the way of pushing that blame off on other people. Wow. We play for all those reasons. So if any of you out there recognize any of those things, you might just ask yourself, do I playing the blame game to avoid something?
And then what can we do if we realize we are playing the blame game?
That's a good one. And I like this one a lot because, number one, accept the fact that you can be wrong. And that's a big one. I made a mistake, and you know what? I'm not perfect. I can screw up just like anybody else. So just take the responsibility. Number two, when you have Learn to appreciate different perspectives. You know that old story of the 7 blind guys who are standing around an elephant, and they're all trying to describe the elephant. They've got one body part. The guy with the tusk says it's like a spear, and the guy with the tail says, no, it's like a snake. And the guy with the leg says, no, it's like a tree. And the guy with the ear says, no, it's like a leaf. Because we can't see everybody else's perspective, we don't know what the elephant looks like. So a lot of times by just saying, you know, I'm wrong, tell me what you think. How do you think this should have happened? Oh, get feedback from your spouse, from your friends, whatever it is. More perspectives gives you more chances to make changes. Number 3, lose control. Now, by lose control, I don't mean that you go crazy. What I mean is you lose your sense of having to be in control. You need to look like this, you need to say that, you need to dress like the other. When I give up the need to control all the moving parts, I can actually have more control. By accepting you as you are, the situation as it is, now I can actually move the pieces around. If I'm stuck with what it should be, it'll never be right. Yeah. And finally, take responsibility. You're an adult, a full-grown adult, perfectly capable of making mistakes and fixing them and taking responsibility for them. Do it. Stop spending your time trying to figure out how you're not on the hook and say, you know what, I screwed up, I'm sorry, what is it going to take? Well, you forgot to take out the trash. Instead of going through a whole thing, it wasn't my fault, he was supposed to do it, so I might have to do it. You know, hang on a second, I'm really sorry, you're right, I did that. Run outside, I put the trash thing, there, it's done. I fixed it.
What about for people on the other end? So someone says to you, you forgot to take out the trash, and then the other person says, well, you never washed the dishes, and because you never washed the dishes, this and this, and then all of a sudden the argument turns about you. What do we do? Those on the other.
That's the goal. Well, first of all, who are you attracting? If you're in a relationship where that happens on a frequent basis, am I in the right relationship? That person is always wanting me to take responsibility for everything. If, for example, with a narcissistic personality, it happens a lot. Since the narcissist can never be wrong, the person next to them always has to be. Even if it's not, you just get used to going, yeah, okay, fine, whatever, what do I have to do? So the other person always has to take the responsibility. So if you don't like that role, maybe you shouldn't be in that role.
Got it.
If it always turns into a fight, do you like fighting too much? If you're having to fight that much to be in a relationship, again, do I want that? Is that a good thing? But it's never comfortable to be in a relationship with somebody like a narcissist who can never be wrong because you always have to be, which means you're always on the defensive. You're always one down. You're always being a little bit victimized. Not a comfortable place to be in a relationship.
Definitely. Well, if you have any questions or you're going through anything that you feel Peter might be able to help you with, please give him a call because he's great and he will talk you through it all like he does here with us every month. Thank you so much for being here. This is a good one.
My pleasure.
All right, looking forward to your next visit, Peter.
Good.
Have a good one. Coming up, everybody, how a special team at Community Medical Centers is helping folks get through their hospital stay with a smile on their face. We'll be right back.